Now on Nashville's News 2 this morning, heavy rains moving through the area. Will the rain stick around as fans get ready to pack into LP Field tonight for the Titans pregame? Wow, that is incredible.
This is a live picture right now. This is happening right now in the Madison area. These cars are flooded out. This road is flooded out. You have stuff floating down the road. We'll go to Jerry Live coming up with this breaking story up in Madison coming up in just one moment. And this high water rescue captured live by the News 2 First Alert Unit a short time ago. This is in the Whites Creek area, Bordeaux area, where a small child, her mom and grandma pulled to safety as the water was coming up around the foundation of that house over by Drake's Branch Creek.
And pull out those Powerball tickets. 3 people hit the massive $448 million jackpot. Once again, Tennessee missed the big winner, but we will give you the numbers just in case you won one of the smaller prizes.
Nice to have you with us. I'm Neil Arden. It's a crazy morning around here. The thunderstorms, as you can see behind us, are just raging across the area, and we have this flooding that is going on with the First Alert Unit. These cars are up to the hood right now in Madison.
Weather, the big story right now, especially as folks head out to their jobs. Let's see what's going on with Randy.
Well, no surprise that we have a flood warning, you guys, across much of the metro area, most of the areas surrounding Nashville right now. You were talking about Madison. It does include that area as well. We've just seen heavy rainfall in these spots, 1 to 2 inches, and obviously causing some flooding problems across Middle Tennessee. It actually has improved around our area over the last hour and a half, 2 hours since we went on the air. Things starting to loosen up a little bit to our west, but still some heavy rain around the Madison area right now. And in some of these spots, we were talking 1 to 2 inches. And the National Weather Forecast, National Weather Service reporting that some of these spots could see 2 to 4 inches. It's going to send some of those creeks over the banks, and that's what we've seen, I think, in some of these locations. You can see some of the heavier rainfall around the Madison area and on Old Hickory. Looks like things are improving towards the Gallatin area, northward, up towards Bowling Green. So things are showing signs of easing up a little bit. Further to the east, though, still a lot of rain is going to fall, and I suspect in some of those areas we'll likely see some flooding or at least some street flooding possible. That's looking towards the west of Nashville right now, so lighter rain headed our way if we see any at all. So as you make your morning commute, I think at least around the immediate Nashville area, things will improve. We're going to take a look at our extended forecast, unfortunately, which includes more rain. I'll have all the details, you guys, coming up.
Thanks, Randy. Breaking news, of course, as you just mentioned, flooding in our area due to all this heavy rainfall. Our First Alert Unit, of course, in the North Nashville, I believe Madison area, heavy flooding. You can see it right there. We've got him on the phone. Jerry, tell us exactly where you are and what you're seeing.
We are at Gallatin and Hickory Street and Emmett Drive. There is, as you can see, at least 2 feet of water. Dumpsters have floated across the road in front of us. Furniture floated across the road in front of us. Fortunately, they've been able to get the people out of those cars that you see. They're in the water, but right now, Gallatin Road shut down. Cars stuck in the water. There's actually looks like you could do a whitewater rafting down Hickory Street here at Old Hickory Boulevard, the way the water's hitting some of the curbs and through the parking lots. It is at the doors of some of the businesses here. We're not sure if it's actually made it inside those businesses yet or not. The police officers told me they're not sure where the furniture even came from, but a big mess. Traffic right now is starting to back up on Gallatin Road both directions, but a lot of flooding and very, very heavy rain still coming down now. You may be able to hear it hitting the umbrella that I'm standing under out here right now, but lots of flooding, lots of rescue still going on. We were actually headed to a water rescue when we came to this spot right here, and we just figured we couldn't go any further. So we would stay here and give you this picture, but this just gives you an idea of what's happening up on the north side, especially now. It's moved from that area over in the Bordeaux area where we were earlier to the Madison area, moving on up Gallatin Road all the way up to Myatt Drive. We're hearing reports of water rescues happening up in that area too. So a lot of rain. If people can at least put off their commute this morning for another half hour or more, that would be advisable, because even the interstates were starting to back up. Cars and tractor trailers were pulling over to the side of the road trying to stop to stay out of the high water. So my advice this morning is stay put if you can. If you have to get out, try to find an alternate route if you're having to take one of these routes we've been on this morning.
Jerry, this is really an unbelievable scene. This is really unbelievable. We're watching this as signs are kind of floating between those two cars. What's the cross up there again in Gallatin?
It's Hickory Street.
Okay.
Hickory Street, and I believe on the other side, maybe Emmett. It's close to Neely's Bend. It's in that dip right there between Neely's Bend and Old Hickory Boulevard. their State Route 8 or State Route 45, what some people call it there, that takes you across the river into Old Hickory.
Is this are you in a spot where you can move your camera a little bit, Jerry, or are you kind of locked down in the front seat there like usual?
I can try to zoom out a little bit. So
I just want folks to kind of get a better idea of where you are. I can see that the Metro, the MTA bus is stopped there and traffic's starting to stop there. Yeah, we appreciate that. Look at that.
Wow.
Now this guy's going to try to go through in his pickup truck. Not sure if you're seeing that yet or not.
Oh, no.
Yeah, here we go.
It's not going to be good for him, I don't believe, because it is getting deeper as he goes. I'm surprised that the officer didn't try to stop him, but he is trying to make it. We'll see if he makes it across. Fortunately, the water there, if he were to get stuck, it's not too swift that he may not be able to get out. But if he makes it across, he's going to be very fortunate this morning, which looks like he is on the other side now. So very lucky for him.
You mentioned there are officers on the scene because we know they've been scattered throughout the city working to get people help who need it as quickly as possible. There is an officer there, you said?
Yes, there's an officer here beside my car, pulled up beside him. There's a MTA bus that got out just to its wheels and realized how deep it was and stopped just to the right of my car. So most people are taking a precaution and not trying to drive through this because they do see how deep it is. But as you saw, someone wanted to try it. Fortunately for him, he did, but it would be not advisable for anyone at all to try to make it. I mean, when you've got furniture and dumpsters, and we actually saw what appeared to be some type of a sign and a large pole float across when you first came to me. So that just gives you an idea of how deep the water is and how heavy of stuff this water can move at this point in time. And, I didn't want to say it earlier when we were driving around, but the rain that we've been in this morning where this flooding is reminded me of the 2010 flood. Now, fortunately, it's concentrated areas. It's not over all of Nashville, but it is going to do some damage to some of the creeks, and especially the Cumberland River. What you're seeing right now is going to eventually end up in the Cumberland River and head downtown because it will flow into the creeks here, then flow into the Cumberland River somewhere near Opryland and start raising the river levels at this point.
Yeah, of course, nothing on the magnitude of what we saw then, but the point well taken there, Jerry. And obviously the pickup truck made it through with four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive, but these cars didn't, so we're just at that point at this part of the road right there.
And check underneath our graphic there. You can see how that water is starting to just wave up there, which is a good indicator of how quickly this water is moving and how dangerous it can be. Remember the saying, turn around, don't drown.
The interstates right now are kind of packed up for those that are venturing out this morning, so we'll get to our normal traffic update. And right downtown, we have this accident that's kind of pushing people off to the side, and the backup coming on Interstate 24 and 40 into the downtown area from the east and southeast side is starting to become significant. Now, that's about an hour too early for our normal rush hour volumes at this time. But again, I'm looking at the Metro Police accident website where they kind of type in the accident reports, and they're working about 14 accidents just in the downtown area right now, similar to this one. So they are very busy and pushed to the limit right now. So it may be quite the morning commute that we have underway right now. This is the power outage map from NES.
Yeah, all those little blips on there are an indicator that power outages are out. I believe earlier we had 2,500. I'm sure that number is likely to have gone up.
Top right there is 3139.
Yeah.
And we had this pocket right here on the north side that was going to be 2,400, so that remains the same. That's kind of up there in that area, general area where Jerry is. And this one right here, 556 people without power reported in the West End Charlotte Avenue area right now. As I zoom in a little bit closer, you can see over by St. Thomas Midtown where that has occurred. And where we go next, I apologize. Okay, good deal. We'll get back to the weather coverage coming up in just one moment, and we'll show you more of what's going on around here, and we'll get Randy back with the radar coming up in just one moment. Donaldson convenience store was robbed overnight. This was before the heavy rain moved in. It's the Donaldson Pike near I-40 at the MAPCO around 1 o'clock. A man walked into this store, demanded cash. They forced the clerk to the ground at gunpoint. He ran away from the scene on foot. Police are searching for that person, or they were searching for that person with a vague description released. Maybe some video from inside that store they have will help them out eventually down the road. If that looks familiar or the location sounds familiar, we were here yesterday when there was a road rage incident that ended up with one person being stabbed during our morning news.
This morning, Gallatin police are increasing the reward in a search for a killer. The victim, Carl Bost, was found dead in the front yard of a home on Eastland Street on July 5th. Officers believe he collapsed after running from another location where he was shot multiple times. Information that leads to the killer's capture is now worth $5,000.
Okay, a former TSU quarterback is scheduled to be in court today. Michael German, along with defensive back Joseph Johnson, suspended indefinitely from the team after being charged with felony vandalism. The two allegedly causing thousands of dollars in damage to another student's car. They were dancing on the roof and hood. German throwing for 2,700 yards last season, the fourth most in Tennessee State history.
And of course, with weather being what it is, we definitely want to go back to Randy and figure out what is next for our morning commute and for the day.
Yeah, and I want to start off where Jerry is located, doing an excellent job showing us those flooding pictures, just incredible in and around the Madison area. And I was looking at some of the rainfall estimates, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches around the Madison area. That's looking at live at Storm Tracker right now where the rain is falling. If you look just to the west and northwest of Madison, there is a little bit of a break there and much drier weather. And when I say drier, at least no rain further to the west of that area. So probably over the next hour, you folks in Madison will see some improving weather conditions. Mount Juliet to Lebanon, you've seen a lot of rain this morning, not over for you. Going to continue with the showers at least for the next hour. Not going to be surprised to see some street flooding in and around your neighborhoods, and you can see how that rain, as you go along Interstate, say 40, going eastward right now, heavy rain continues to fall. Some pockets of moderate showers as well, and light rain. And then further to our west, at least west of Nashville, things showing signs of sort of loosening up a little bit. Unfortunately, there's more rain in the forecast. In fact, we're going to see this off and on pattern throughout the day today, and it's likely going to continue through the weekend. I'll have all the details on that coming up.
Okay, we'll take a break. Be right back with more here on Nashville's News 2 this morning. It is a disaster out there as far as the roads in the morning commute. We'll have more of that coming up in just a minute. News 2 First Alert Unit. Jerry is on foot right now with one of the remote cameras here. We're up in the Madison area.
Look at that water. It's incredibly high, and of course, Jerry is trying to get adjusted. I know it's probably quite dangerous for him to actually be walking through there.
Moving through here. If you were with us a little while ago, we had cars that were kind of stranded in the middle of the road right now. Jerry, you've walked around the back of these businesses, and this is just going to wash these cars out of the parking lot, it looks like, at this point.
Well, this looks like it may be a used parking car lot or something like that. There are some businesses, and they have just been parked there, we've seen. But this is one of the dumpsters that we told you about that came sweeping across the road earlier. Not sure if you're seeing it yet on how long the delay is, but you just kind of get an idea of how swift the water is with the water flowing here. Now, I talked about that MTA bus that was here on the side of the road next to my car. There were a couple of ladies that opened one of the emergency windows and said, "Can somebody please get us out of here? There's water coming in the front of the bus through the front door." So they're hoping that someone can come in, get them out of the window. The water, from what I can tell, has not really receded very much yet. It is still raining, but it is slacking up now. But as you can hear now, a lot of thunder, still a lot of lightning coming down through this area. So it is still a very dangerous situation at this point. I actually see a man waist deep in the water. Let's see if I can stop and zoom in over there where he's at.
It doesn't look like the people on the MTA bus are in any danger, but yeah, you can see.
We can see him.
Yeah, as you move back off the road there, just how deep that water is. That looks like a little, one of those hotels there along the Gallatin Pike.
Yeah, it's a parking lot. I'm not sure what the business is there. There are several cars underwater up that area where he's gone to. Not sure exactly where he's trying to get to, but still a lot of rushing water here. Not sure exactly what roads this is all coming from, but may have to get back in the car with this lightning. But still very dangerous situation out here for motorists this morning. As you can see, people on foot even. So very dangerous situation. Car's still flooded. Fortunately, we haven't seen anybody else try to go through the water at this point. I'll try to show you this business over here. Like I said, I'm not sure how long the delay is, but you can see at this point, this is actually a business. It's not open yet, but it is looks like a convenience store of some type. You can see the water's going through the front door there. I did look inside, and there was maybe a half inch of water on some of the floors inside that business there. So people, when they come into work this morning, will find some of their businesses may have some damage as well.
Jerry, again, are you close to the Rivergate Mall area?
No, we are further in. We're at between Neely's Bend and Old Hickory Boulevard.
Okay.
We're several miles in from Old Hickory Boulevard. Now, we did hear there is some flooding there on Myatt Drive down in the Rivergate Mall area. We have not made it that far because once we got here and saw the damage here, we just decided to stay. And now,
sure,
you may be able to hear it hit the umbrella. The rain's starting to pick back up very heavily again, so that's not going to help if the water was starting to recede at all. But it's still very dangerous out here on Gallatin Road this morning.
All right, stay with us, Jerry, here. And Sawaski upstairs, if you can go ahead and pop up the computer, because just to the north along Dry Creek, we had this picture that was sent in to us from one of our viewers. And, you know, Dry Creek is not the fitting name for it this morning.
Not at all. You can see how high that water is getting to the bottom of that mailbox, but look out beyond that and see that water very easily rising up above the roadway.
Yeah, Matt Talaferro sending that in to us this morning via the Twitter feed right there. We appreciate the update there, Matt. So this is a situation really in Madison and northward and up through Hendersonville that we're going to be dealing with as long as the rain keeps coming down. Thanks for putting that up there. I appreciate that. Back to
A little bit past your ankle.
back to they're okay on the bus right there. Just probably don't want to be there, right, Jerry? No. Okay, this is what Jerry so often does, where he actually kind of helps people that are stranded.
Yes, and you can see her trying to make her way out of that bus. Clearly, reason to get out of there with that water rising up, not necessarily receding just yet.
Yeah, one of the new hybrid buses there up on the north side, the tandem buses, so helping these folks just get up to a little bit higher ground, as they don't know where the water's going. They seem to be pretty safe on that bus for the time being, but I can understand the wanting to get out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. We do want to go to Randy and figure out when exactly we will get a reprieve from all this rain.
Well, it's hard to believe when we see those pictures from Jerry, we see the flooding in and around Madison, that things are going to improve, but they will. It's just going to take a while to drain all that water out that's moving through the streets right now. But to the west, there are signs of improvement as we see Storm Tracker right now showing some drying to the west of Nashville right now. Most of the rain is further to the east. In fact, I'll give you a closer view of it as we zoom in on Storm Tracker. We continue to see the showers still falling around the Madison area, but it's much lighter than what we saw earlier this morning. In fact, the estimate's 2 to 3 inches in and around the Madison area. You can see some of the rain still falling around Hendersonville. Nashville, just some sprinkles to light rain continuing to fall. I'll tell you where it's been steady too. Mount Juliet to Lebanon, steady rains in those two specific areas and along Interstate 40 going east. And then, of course, all this rain is moving towards the plateau. If we look to the west, places like Dixon, on into Charlotte, things are dry, and this is what we can expect in and around the Nashville area as we go through the early and late morning hours. However, still more rain in the forecast today. As we look from the arena can, some ominous looking clouds. And if you've been watching this morning, we've seen a lot of lightning strikes out there, low clouds, and a fair amount of thunder as well. 73 degrees right now, high humidity, and winds are out of the east at 8 miles per hour. Forecast today, bottom line, good chances for rain at almost any time today. So keep the umbrellas handy as we go through the forecast period. If you're going to go to the Titans game, there is some signs that I think things will hold off in terms of rain during the game. There may be a few isolated sprinkles, but all in all, drying conditions once we get the sun down today. Rain-cooled air out there. Temperature is still cool for this time of the morning. Low 70s in many spots, not heating up very quickly. There's just not a lot of sunshine out there, and more wet weather far to our west. We're sort of sandwiched in between two weather systems, and this weather pattern that we're under is going to continue not only today, but through the day tomorrow as well. Let me show you a predictor as we go through the morning hours. Still some scattered showers around, all that drifting to the east. Maybe around the lunch hour, most of this will start to move to the south. Many of the southern counties haven't seen any rain this morning. I think you will see it later on today. And then as we move into the evening hours, Thursday night, things are relatively dry. And then once again, tomorrow morning, we'll probably have some rain, some thunder, some lightning early on, back for the morning commute. And then as we go throughout the day on Friday, that wet weather pattern continues, still scattered showers occurring. Daytime highs today are going to be determined if we see some afternoon sunshine, still expecting some. So if that does occur, we'll see those readings into the upper 80s. If not, we'll remain in the mid to lower 80s because of the lack of sun. Today, then, we'll look for scattered showers, some periods of heavy rain, upper 80s for highs, 90 degrees tomorrow, and the same weather story for your Friday forecast. And unfortunately, that's going to continue on into Saturday and I think part of the day on Sunday. So flooding is going to be a concern as we go through the next couple of days. These quick downpours are going to allow some of that water to really gather up on the roadways. As we've seen in Madison, you guys, it's obviously a situation we need to monitor closely.
And we certainly are. We've got new pictures out of Madison right now. Take a look at this. This is Gallatin Pike and Old Hickory Boulevard in the Madison area. You can see how high the water is, and you can see several cars stuck in that water.
A minivan up over its hood, and obviously through the front of that car. Part of the road passable, but part of the intersection shut off by authorities, and a lot of running water through there. I mean, this is a main intersection up there.
A very busy intersection.
Yeah, Gallatin Pike on the north side and Old Hickory Boulevard that kind of divides Gallatin Pike between north and south right there. Still got the kids going to school, still got all that activity going on. But in the meantime, at that intersection, I'm not sure if Todd can hear me or not, but when you focus on that minivan over on the other side, you can see those cars that were kind of wiped out and stuck in the high water. These were some of the high water rescues we were getting,
yes,
the calls we were getting a little earlier, and this is kind of what's left behind. Everyone's out, everyone's okay. But we are swamped up here, especially as you head up through the Madison area and up north into the Rivergate area this morning.
We're going to keep gathering these pictures, gathering this information, and bring you the very latest. Stay with us.
Very good morning. Coming into the downtown area from the east side, you can see we're starting to get some breaks in the heavy rain there, but the accidents are numerous right now. On the north side, you can take 65 southbound toward Briley Parkway. It really slows down. Another incident up on the north side there. So give yourself a few extra minutes on the morning drive. And some of these side streets that are getting flooded out right now, just nightmare. Can you pop up camera 16 since we're bouncing around a little bit there? It's fine right there coming up through East Nashville on Interstate 24. Not bad at all. I think 16 was the one that I wanted to see where we've really kind of slowed things down and almost taken things to a stop, because just on the other side of the hill there past Skyline, there's an accident on the interior, I believe, Heather, and that's what stopped traffic here. So, and it's still coming down like buckets right now.
Of course, yeah.
So it is a football game day, and this rain should be gone by later today.
Fingers
but
crossed.
We are ready for football season, no doubt.
Yeah, the Tennessee Titans kick off preseason right here in Nashville's News 2, hosting the Washington Redskins. And this morning, crews are getting wet and getting ready for game day at LP Field. And our own Stephanie Langston is down there.
Well, the view is one of a kind. The weather, however, has been a whole nother story. It's just been downpouring buckets on us all morning long. You can really see that on the tarp here across LP Field. There's several puddles. If I wasn't recovering from ACL surgery, I'd take a slip and slide across. A photographer did it earlier. Maybe we can get him to do that again in a little bit. Check out the scoreboard, though. There's the News 2 logo. It's lighting up the city sky today. And, of course, below that, tens of thousands of empty, wet seats. Hopefully that'll be a different story tonight, as tonight's game is a sellout. And all the talk as we enter this season, of course, will fan favorite Mark Mariani be able to complete a comeback? Of course, last year he underwent a gruesome injury and now has a metal rod inside his leg. Still, the Titans receiver and returner says he's excited about getting back in the game. He played well at last Saturday's scrimmage, but he says the road to recovery has been up and down. He says he plans to play well for the preseason and hopes to secure his spot for the team. Now, tonight's game is at 7 o'clock. Again, it is a sellout, but you can watch it right here on Nashville's News 2. We'll take on the Redskins. And we're going to talk a little bit about the security rules coming up the next half hour. Ladies, you'll want to tune into that because you can't bring some of these bags that you're used to walking in with. Reporting from LP Field, Stephanie Langston, Nashville's News 2.
Steph, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Steph.
that. See you in a minute. We've got a pair of tickets to give away to the game tonight.
Yeah.
See you, Steph. A very good morning to you. We have quite the situation on the north side of town here where the heavy rain has caused some intersections to flood. We've had several high water rescues that have been executed by rescue teams out there, and it just continues to rain in some of these areas, aggravating the situation as the situation continues to develop. We are on top of it for you this morning. We've got several crews up on the north side, and certainly Randy's here covering the weather aspect of it, and we're looking at traffic and power outages on this end.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
A lot of pictures, live reports, a lot of stuff going on, mostly on the north side of town, as you said. So,
not to mention behind us, there's a big unusual event that happens this time of year. It's called preseason football. We'll go back down there live coming up in just a little bit as well. Let's go right to Randy, show us where the rain is, and then we'll get to this breaking story.
Yeah, I want to start off with some video from our iReport 2 network. This is out of Madison. You guys have been covering this greatly this morning. Of course, Jerry out in the Madison area right now, and I know we're going to get a report from him. I know it's a little bit blurry, but this has been some of the rain that's been falling around that area, heavy. And if you look out in the distance there, you guys, you can see some of the flooding in and around this particular neighborhood. And some of that rain obviously gathering up on the grassy areas. So Madison's been hit hard with quite a bit of precipitation early this morning. Let's take a look at Storm Tracker. Things are improving a little bit as we look to the west. Still rain showers, though, falling around Madison, where some of the most serious flooding has been occurring this morning. You can see the rain stretching all the way from Madison towards Goodlettsville. And I'll tell you where some of the heaviest rain has definitely been falling this morning, say from Mount Juliet to Lebanon. Boy, we've seen steady rain since about 4 this morning in those locations, and it continues along I-40 right now. And this is why we've seen, let me show you something here, that flash flood warning now extending over to Mount Juliet, Lebanon, where flooding in some neighborhoods certainly occurring. We haven't gotten specific spots, but a flooding has been occurring. 1 to 2 inches of rainfall has fallen, and in some locations 2 to 3 inches. So rainfall still a problem in those specific areas shaded in green. Of course, we'll keep you posted throughout the morning hours.
All right, so at least it's lifting north and kind of dissipating a little bit. That's a good sign here.
Yes.
We are live up on the north side where we've had heavy rain and flooding. This continues to be a situation there in the Madison area. And you can see it's just overwhelmed the sewer system there, the drainage system.
We want to go to First Alert Unit Jerry Barler, who has been giving us pictures all morning. Jerry, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, guys, you saw it. That's one of the reasons why this water is taking its time to recede, because the sewer system here just cannot handle the amount of rain that we've seen over in this area over the past hour or so. You can still see people are still trying to walk through this water here as traffic has backed up now to Old Hickory Boulevard. They have finally shut it down there where people cannot come this way any further. And also, I talked to you about that business earlier. The water is about 3 or 4 inches up on the door at least, but fortunately, the door is sealed fairly well. There is some water that is starting to seep in along the bottom here. You may be able to see the door now. There's some of the water's there along the floor of this business there, but fortunately, that door is holding back most of it. Still a lot of swift water flowing down Hickory Street here at the intersection of Gallatin Road. We showed you the whitewater rapids, basically, that was flowing earlier. A dumpster that had been pushed into a car, and that's still the scene here. Still quite a bit of water going down Hickory Street. We're still hearing calls for water rescues in this area and throughout the northern part of the county up in here. So we are continuing to monitor this. We want to stay here and let you know if anything else changes. You may be able to see this railroad tie here earlier. Officers told me there was furniture, dumpsters, different things floating across the road. When we first took our live shot out here earlier this morning, you could see the large sign that was floating. We're not sure where it wound up right now. So a lot of water still here in the northern part of the county, and it's going to have to take some time before it can recede low enough for the traffic to get through. It is about 2 to 3 feet deep out in the middle of Gallatin Road as people try to drive through and walk through. So we will continue to monitor this and let you know when things start to improve.
Okay, a pretty big area right now. They're underwater there up on the north side. Jerry, we appreciate that. Not too far away. We'll actually go to another live picture for you at the intersection of Old Hickory Boulevard and Gallatin Pike and show you another situation that's happening. This is going to be the News 2 Traffic Tracker. Your quick update shows you that most of the accidents and most of the incidents are on the north side of town, specifically that area that we are talking about where all the intersections are flooded at Dickerson Pike and Broadmoor, one of those intersections right there. And in the downtown area, we're just starting to pick up a lot of volume. A couple minor accidents have really fouled up things in the downtown area. This is going to be 65 north of Brownlee Parkway. Those cars are trying to make it southbound into the Dickerson Pike, into the Trinity Lane, and the Nashville, downtown Nashville area right now. And they're being held up by an accident that's just ahead on the road there. NES saying 3,200 people are called in with power outages right now. Two of the most densely packed areas that we see are the red bubbles. One's going to be that Gallatin Pike area up on the north side, not too far from Rivergate Mall. The other one's going to be over by St. Thomas Hospital right in downtown. So if you are commuting into these areas, if it's not the high water, it might be stoplights that aren't working at this. So treat those as four-way intersections, and we'll keep updating that for you this morning as well.
Just as Neil said, we've got another live picture for you. This is Gallatin Pike at Old Hickory Boulevard. You can see traffic there backing up because all of that water behind that front row of cars and this moving row of traffic, lots of water back there. And there are several cars stuck in that water just behind there. We saw those pictures just a few moments ago. But again, this is a very busy intersection, a main thoroughfare, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, we saw a big old German Shepherd wandering right through the middle of the traffic there a short time ago when we were seeing the live picture off air. Cody Hendricks lives in the neighborhood in the Madison area on Linda Lane. a water rescue nearby there. Cody joins us by the phone this morning. Cody, what are you seeing up there for the most part?
Right now, I'm looking out my window and I see a cop. He's he's going at the flow of the water. It keeps on going closer to Gallatin Road. So I don't know if the crew is working on it, but when you first went with Jerry Baller just now, he was at the beginning of my street, Woodruff.
Yeah.
You've seen a Bridgestone Firestone place, and there was a train trestle in the back. I'm on that back edge, and there's a big old creek right behind the train trestle,
Gotcha.
and it's just overflowed. I live on a hill, like our house is hilled up, and it's in the water, the actual water that's going towards Gallatin Road is actually in our hilly yard. I never thought that I would see something like this. Kind of reminds me of the flood of 2010, but scary.
Cody, you mentioned that it reminds you of the flood of 2010. Was that the last time that you've seen the water rise up this high?
That's the last time in this area that I've seen the water get that high. It's the creek's flooded over a little bit here this winter and this spring, but nothing this bad to where the water on Linda Lane, I guess you can say, is actually in my driveway, up in my yard, because like I said, my yard is hilly, and it's actually in the yard going straight towards the train tracks, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's still raining there, Cody?
It is. It's still sprinkling, I guess, a little bit, but it's got enough to where a fire truck tried to come through, and they turned on Peggy Street, and then they got stuck, so they had to wait a minute. Then the cop came up, and I guess I gave them the clearance to go. I've seen a bus try to come through twice, 2 different ways to not get through, and almost got stuck, thinking that I guess they can just make it through the water right where the creek is. I'm going to try my best when I get off the phone with you guys to take an actual video and show you how quick this water's running up underneath this train trestle and how amazing it is, because just sitting here, there's a phone pole, and it's got the little yellow TP-looking thing coming off of it. It's all the way up halfway past that yellow TP pole, if that makes sense. It's up higher than what I would expect for it to be.
Well, you sound very alert and cautious there, so don't go out and put yourself in danger getting us some video, but we appreciate anything you do send in.
Thank you.
All right. Cody Hendricks up in the Madison area with kind of a first-hand account on his perch overlooking this intersection and all the activity that's going on there with this flooding.
And we know a lot of emergency crews are out there. They're trying to get to people as quickly as they can. Remember that this is kind of happening, I don't want to say all over because it is mostly in the north, but again, our emergency services are doing everything they can to get where they're needed.
We watched the pickup truck drive through some pretty strong water before, but
right.
You know, in the picture we were just showing you up there in the Old Hickory Boulevard Gallatin Pike area, that was a large SUV about the same size of the pickup truck that was washed off the side of the road.
And did not make it.
And did not make it, so it's a tough situation. So Randy's showing us this weather. It seems like it's developing off to our west, but Randy, at the same time, it's also sliding a little bit to the north, which is a relief.
Right, yeah. I think some of this newer rain is going to skim just to the north of Madison. You can see just to the west of that area, maybe around Jolton right now and towards Ridgetop. Most of that rain is going to just skirt to the north of the Madison area, but they're still seeing some light rain in and around Madison. Around Nashville right now, most of the precipitation is light. The heavier stuff continues to fall, say from Mount Juliet towards Lebanon right now, and then further towards the north of both those spots. Some of these spots around in this area since about 4:30 this morning, have been seeing steady, heavy rainfall. So not going to be surprised if we see flooding within that circled area because of just the steady rainfall that has occurred throughout the morning hours in both those locations. So if you're going to be along, say, Interstate 40, be careful. I don't know what spots are flooding right now and what spots are not. So take it slow. Even along the interstates, don't assume that those areas are going to clear out from the water that is gathering. We're going to talk about a rainy forecast for today. We're going to talk in detail about it and also show you that there's more rain in the weekend outlook. I'll have a full report coming up.
Thanks, Randy. Titans preseason starting tonight. You can watch
7
the game.
o'clock.
Yeah,
right here. Nashville's News 2. Tune in.
Be a good chance to see the guys start out the year, see who's up for positions and how they're kind of stacking things up. And they've got, of course, a new offensive coordinator this year, and we'll see who plays the certain amount of reps to start. So.
Could be interesting.
We want to mention real quick, Briley Parkway has just been shut down. It's been shut down from Brick Church Pike over to Whites Creek Pike. So it's causing quite a mess. Briley Parkway shut down this morning from Brick Church Pike to Whites Creek Pike on the north side of town. That is off limits for the time being. Once the rain settles down, we most likely will get things back open here pretty quick. 24 west of Old Hickory Boulevard on the north side of town. Also another slow area with an accident up there reported just a short time ago. Use caution, give time, and don't go through the high water this morning. Very good morning. Just looking at some of the latest reports. Dumpster pushed into the right lane at Lebanon Pike at Tulip Grove Road right there. So this extends out or to Lebanon Pike, the east side of town. Look at all these situations. We have high water mostly closing intersections up throughout the Madison area this morning. We have Briley Parkway that is shut down from Brick Church Pike to Whites Creek Pike this morning. It is slow on Interstate 24 coming in pretty much from Whites Creek Pike all the way down to the merge with 65. Then you just have your normal slow traffic through there. So situation on the traffic tracker on the south side, really not too bad. Your normal delays coming in on Interstate 24. 65 looks good pretty much all the way in. And on the west side of town, this one just popped up. Let me see the details. Accident at I-40, Highway 70S at exit 196, the eastbound lanes right there. This is going to be 24 West Old Hickory Boulevard. This is what I showed you on the northwest side of town. There's slow traffic in through there, and you see the skies up above the TDOT SmartWay camera there, black because we still have some heavy rain in some spots of Davidson County this morning.
We're going to go to the First Alert Unit and Jerry Barler. He is now actually moved his location on Gibson Drive near Neely's Bend. Jerry, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, guys, right now, fire department rescue personnel trying to make it into a home. We're told there is a family that is stuck in the attic of their home. You can see the cars under the water here. The home is across the street here. I'll show you where the fire department has the rope out. They have just witnessed two firemen go inside the home. There appears to be a window that's been broken out upstairs, maybe to try to communicate with them, but we have not seen anybody come out that window yet. But we're told there may be an infant and a family up in that attic. So we're trying to stay here and monitor this as well and let you know. But Gibson Drive here for about a block has 4 to 5 feet of water over it. I saw the fire department as they waded out. It was well over their waist at some points, up to their chest almost. They had life jackets on, trying to make sure that they would be okay in this water. Fortunately, it is not very swift. It does not appear, but it is very deep, and you never know about the current once you get into that deeper part of the water. But fire department personnel on the scene here trying to rescue a family that's stuck in the attic right now.
Jerry, pretty unbelievable thing unfolding in front of us. Can you kind of focus in on the house that we're talking about? I heard you talking about, is the house right in front of the firefighter there on the left?
It is. It's the gray house. It has kind of a maroon-type shutters.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can show you the window that's out upstairs. You can see where they may have tried to make communication with people out here on the ground.
Okay.
They are stuck up there. And fire department personnel went into that front door. As you can see now, they're starting to come out. I'm not sure. Let's see. I can't. Looks like they are carrying maybe a car seat or baby seat or something like that. Maybe I'm not sure if there's a child in or not. They are carrying what appears to be a car seat out the front door at this time, trying to rescue this family out of this house.
I mean, this is exactly what we saw over by Drake's Branch a little bit earlier this morning. And for folks that weren't with us during the 4 o'clock hour, we had another rescue with a small child being pulled out by the Nashville Fire Department.
It is, but this water here is considerably deeper. I waded out with those guys earlier this morning to rescue that family and that child. It was only up a little above our knees, but you could see here well to their waist. And as they get here closer to the road, what I'm told, there's a smaller ditch that drops off maybe up to their chest as well. So they will have to take precaution with this child when they come out of here. And as you can see, they do have a safety rope attached to them to try to make sure if they do happen to fall, that they will be caught by the person here on the scene, on the road, trying to make sure that they don't get swept away in that water.
Jerry, and you may have said, but can you tell us again, do they know how many people are inside that home?
I'm not sure how many people are inside the home. I just heard them saying that there was an infant and a family, so we're not sure if there's 2, 3, or how many. But as you can see now, they're making it out with that infant. And right here you can see they're just sniffing into that deep water up to their waist. Now they're making it.
Oh, wow.
Off the
curb. Now maybe dry land.
Incredible pictures. Is there any chance that anyone else in this neighborhood, because clearly several homes are underwater, is anyone else in danger that we know of?
We haven't heard. I know they were talking about several homes here on Gibson Drive, but this one right now is the one that the focus is definitely on. You can see that small child actually asleep in the park here. Really not, he's just kind of oblivious to what's going on.
Right. The baby sleeps through the high water rescue, Jerry. That's great. Oh, my goodness.
family can pull this video out in a few years and show them what happened when they were a small child. As you can see, that baby is fine this morning. Now they're going back in for the rest of the family members.
For those just joining us, Gibson Drive runs parallel to Gallatin Pike. It's up in the Neely's Bend area up there, right?
We're being told by some residents here on the street that there are 4 people still inside that home. So they will continue to make rescues here for the next little bit until they get all those people out. And as you can see, it's not anything that they can do fast because they do have to take their time in this water because they're not sure exactly what's under. And as you saw, they stepped off into that one ditch that went from waist deep to chest deep. And so they just have to take their time, take precautions. Fortunately, it's still raining, but not hard. The water does not appear to be rising anymore, which is always a good thing for them. I'm now watching belongings from the people flow out the front door of the home, so you can just imagine how deep the water is inside that house.
Well, imagine if you were to zoom back in on that window up there in that act on the gray house there. They're probably watching anxiously to make sure that the child did make it over to high ground safely, Jerry, which did occur there. And it looks like they actually still have power to the house, so they may even be watching that happen in front of their very eyes there. So a good news report, 1 out, and then we have 4 to go at this point up there in the Madison area.
That's right, Neil. They are back in the house now, 2 firefighters with that rope to go back in. And it appears what they did this morning, they had enough people that they brought out multiple people at a time. Not sure if they'll try to bring out 1 at a time or 2 with this water being this deep. They may just try to take their time and do it 1 at a time since the water does not appear to be rising. But they are now starting to come out with another person. Haven't been able to see what this is. It looks like it may be just an adult. They have put a life jacket on that person to make sure if anything were to happen that they would be able to be safe as well. The rope, they actually have attached it to the front porch, the columns that hold it up, and then they're just holding that rope and pulling themselves to shore. So now they do have an adult. Not able to tell if it's a female or a male yet, but they are now bringing that person out of the house. It's a female, and she just now stepped off into the water, and they will bring her to shore. Not sure if it's a mother or not. We'll try to talk to these people after they get up here on the shore and kind of gather their senses here. But dramatic scene here on Gibson Drive out in the Madison area this morning.
Jerry, I'm told we're going to stay with you until that family's safe up there on the Gibson Drive this morning. I do want to interrupt and just say this is a statement from Metro Schools this morning. It says, this is from the, let's see. Some of our bus drivers are reporting they cannot navigate some of the streets on their routes due to flooding. They are being told to avoid these areas. Families who live in areas where flooding is occurring should be aware that buses may not be able to pick up their children and make alternate plans. And so we're sharing that information from the Metro Nashville Public Schools, releasing that to us just a short time ago as, once again, the firefighters are doing a tremendous job getting a life preserver on this woman and getting her over to the shore, possibly the mom of that young child that was just brought to shore, sleeping still.
I believe we had a report that Craig Moorhead Academy, I believe that they are closed. I will get accurate information on that, but I do want to.
Yeah, Smithson Craig Head Academy.
Smithson Craig Head Academy. Yes, that is closed for today. It's a single school. It is closed. We do want to go back to the rescue because as we just showed you just moments ago, a small infant was rescued from a home that flooded. This is on Gibson Drive, just off of Gallatin Pike, the Neely's Bend area. And we are told that as many as 4 people could also be in the home. We just saw a woman being rescued from that home. I do want to go back to Jerry and just let him tell us exactly what's going on right now.
Yeah, now, guys, we're hearing that the other people that are trapped may actually be in another home as well. The residents here, once this lady got out, started pointing at the house next to that one. So it may be that the 4 total people, 2 in one home and 2 in another. We're not sure yet, but I can. Looking down at the other home, it does appear that that window is open or knocked out as well. So you can see firefighters are starting to make their way down Gibson Drive through the water to see if they can make it into those other homes to see if they can find anyone else that needs to be rescued. I can tell you that houses on both sides of the road have anywhere from 2 to 3 feet of water as they come down to try to make these rescues. Cars, I'm not sure if they were parked in the driveway because one actually has its lights on. I'm being asked now to back up a little bit by the police here as they are going to go ahead and rope this area off while these rescues continue to take place. We'll back up just a little ways here. Get out of their way. We don't want to hinder anything at all here for sure. But still dramatic scene here as they try to determine just how many people here that need to be rescued and make their way through the water to get them out.
All right, a good update in the Madison area is it looks like NES has restored power to the 2,500 people or so that were out of power. They've knocked that number down significantly, so now we're under 1,000 people in Nashville without power. And it looks like 10 to 15 homes right here are have water, at least throughout the first floor of those homes. And, we're going to let Jerry reposition here and kind of regather and get back to him in just one moment. But we may have other people in these homes, and we're going to stay with this until those folks are brought to higher ground. It does look like, Jerry, the rain is at least subsiding for the time being in the Madison area.
It is still raining, but it has dramatically dropped off in just the amount of rain that is falling. I am setting the camera down, trying to get another piece of equipment so we can get some better pictures where you can tell that the land is starting to fog up all the moisture out here, as much rain as we've been in. But still, rescues going here on Gibson Drive as they brought out that small infant still asleep, and the mother, who actually looked fairly calm, if you can imagine that, going through something like that, having to watch her child be carried out through that swift water by those firemen.
All right, and they have been reunited and they're safe and sound. Real quick, let's go to Old Hickory Boulevard and Gallatin Pike and the situation unfolding there with cars underwater at this intersection as well. And you can see the SUV that was pushed off the side of the road. The water has gone down about a foot, and I can tell you just by looking at the front hood of that truck right there, and cars are starting to make their way through that intersection right there. But the swirling water is the drain that kind of got overwhelmed by the flash flooding and was unable to get that water out of there. So that's the situation that we're having at a lot of intersections, especially on the north and east side of town, going all the way out through Lebanon Pike right now. So you need to use extreme caution. We're switching out cameras right now on the north side over there as we have that high water rescue underway. And we'll get back to Jerry as quickly as possible, but the rain's still coming down in some of these areas impacted by this flash flooding.
And do want to point out that water right there actually looks like it has receded quite a bit. We saw pictures earlier where that SUV was submerged up to the hood. Now it looks like it's gone down a bit, but as Neil just said, the rain is still coming down, still that potential for flooding. So again, plenty of reason to maybe seek an alternate route, to possibly give yourself extra time to do what you need to do to avoid those areas.
All right, police and fire services overwhelmed right now with the amount of calls that they're working. So we have quite the situation on the roads, Randy, for the most part. What would be a big relief if we could stop this rain for just a short period of time this morning?
Well, that's right, Neil. And Jerry was talking about this in and around the Madison area. The rain is starting to lighten up just a little bit, and it's allowing some of that water to finally go down. They've been seeing steady rains steadily throughout, since 4:30 this morning. But luckily, that is starting to lighten up. We still have a flash flood warning in effect, not only Davidson County, but on into northern Wilson County, south central Sumner County, and some of these warnings going in effect until 9:30 a.m. Not a surprise when we consider how much rain we've seen now, especially around Mount Juliet, further to the east towards Lebanon, and then towards the plateau. Madison looking good. There's another area that I continue to watch right up in here, but I think that is mainly going to skirt to the north of Madison right now. So you may see a few little bit of light showers, moderate shower activity, but I don't think you're going to see anything heavy. I think that'll mainly float to the north of you as we go through the morning hours. Here's another view of it. You can see the rain showers mainly to the east of Nashville right now, as I mentioned, towards Lebanon, and then further to the east along Interstate 40 right now, and then on into the plateau. You'll look to the west of Nashville. Things are drier, and this is what we can expect over the next couple of hours around our area. So things will look a little bit better. This came into our iReport 2 network from one of our viewers. You can see some of the rainfall that was falling earlier this morning. I know the pictures are not crystal clear there, but some of the heavy rainfall that was falling in some of the backyards that are also flooded. We've seen the streets around Madison, but also the backyards seeing very, very high water. And this is obviously a rough situation in and around the Madison area. Nashville faring fairly well. The biggest problem is the roadways. Still slow going in many spots, and will continue to be as we continue to see some of these light showers around the Music City. 73 degrees right now. Winds are out of the northeast at 9 miles per hour. Just about any time during the day today, we will see scattered showers. I think around maybe 8, 9 o'clock, most of this will be gone. The Titans game tonight, preseason, I think most of the rain will be over with. However, still some light raindrops could still fall during the game, so keep that in mind if you're heading out there tonight. Rain-cooled air just keeping us below normal for this time of the season. And this early in the morning, we should be a little bit warmer than that. But until we get some of these clouds and rain showers out, we'll see temperatures on the cool side. A lot of rain to our west. And we're going to be stuck with this weather pattern the next couple of days. Unfortunately, things aren't going to change, and we're going to continue to see the rain showers developing in the morning hours, just like we saw yesterday, just like we saw today, and I think we'll see the same scenario come tomorrow. By this afternoon, I think most of the rain will be to the south, maybe McMinnville, further to the south towards Lawrenceburg, and moving out of the Nashville area. Of course, we're going to take a closer look at your forecast, including the weekend. And I'll tell you right now, it does not look good for the upcoming Saturday and Sunday. Details in just a few minutes.
Thanks. We appreciate that, Rain. Let's go back up. This is the water rescue up there, Gibson Drive, right next to Gallatin Pike. We just had 2 more people pulled out of the house next to the house where that baby and mother were taken from. Jerry joining us right now. Jerry, explain what just happened.
They just pulled 3 more people out of that home next door there. There's 3 adults. They have got those people out, but as Heather talked earlier, I can hear her. The water has receded a lot, probably a foot or more. When she referenced that SUV there, you can now see the headlights. Now, from what we're told, that may be the only people that are stuck in those homes. If not, the water may be receding fast enough now that they may be able to make it out on their own. But the fire department is still checking with neighbors around here to make sure that everyone has gotten out at this point.
It's just amazing how quickly the water's gone down. What is that in the middle of the road that we're seeing just past the police officer there?
From what I can tell, it looks to be like maybe a playground set, maybe a table and chairs from a patio set or something.
Okay.
All right.
And obviously, I think that they've determined that there's no one else in these homes, and the water's going down just that fast. So we're probably in the clear here for the most part up there in Gibson Drive.
That's what we're hearing at this point. They are just confirming with the residents and neighbors that there aren't any other people there inside the home. And once they have confirmed that, they will go ahead and clear this area, but they will leave the road blocked off until they can get all the water out of the way.
All right, we'll leave that picture up for one just second. And Heather, we have breaking news regarding Mount Juliet High School.
We've got a lot of things to tell you about Mount Juliet High School. If you're in that area, Curd Road, that is the road that is right past the high school, is impassable. Wilson County authorities are telling people to stay away from that area. They haven't gone so far as to say the school is closed, but clearly if you can't get to it, that will be an issue. But we're trying to get Wilson County authorities on the phone. But we do know that Curd Road by Mount Juliet High School is impassable. Stay away from that area. Also, we want to point out that Smithson Craighead Academy is closed. It's one singular school here in the metro area. Smithson Craighead Academy is closed. Also want to talk to you a little bit about traffic. Briley Parkway.
Well, we're going to show you some cameras.
Yeah,
we'll show you the Briley Parkway
Let's
camera.
go to it.
Actually, the traffic tracker is just too many to explain right now. We just have all sorts of situations going on the north side. Most of those exclamation points are high water at intersections. Do you remember the May 2010 flood when the water went across here after flooding out Opry Mills? That is not the case here, but the water has flooded between the barrier and the side of the road here over by the Opry Mills exit. So Briley Parkway right now has about 2-3 feet of water. Those are going to be the northbound lanes where it take you from the airport over toward Opry Mills, and that is shut down. You can see the TDOT truck on the other side of the water, police on this side of the water. Traffic is just buttoned down. That's one closure, Heather, on Briley Parkway. There's another on Briley that has it shut down from Brick Church Pike over to Whites Creek Pike. So Briley Parkway is just your road you want to avoid this morning for the morning commute because it is now officially shut down in 2 places. On the east side of town, you're looking at right there, and on the north side of town, it is impassable. Now, hopefully the water goes down as fast here as it did at Gibson Drive, and it did some of the other intersections, and we'll have this back open momentarily. But for right now, too high to drive through. Do we have any other cameras we want to put up there? Okay, John Jules, the director of the Wilson Emergency Management Agency, and he joins us now by phone. We had the situation in Madison. It scooted over into Wilson County. Explain what's going on in Mount Juliet and some of the other locations there.
Mount Juliet has taken the brunt of this. We've had some heavier rain in the south section of the county as well. Several places around the county that are traditionally low areas are underwater. We have taken 2 people out of a home at 695 John Wright Road. No injuries, just rising water. And I don't have any final information. We do have a car in the water at Beckwith and Leeville Road. We do not know whether anyone is in that car or not. We're sending units to check that out. But at any rate, we will see flooding in all the traditional places around the county, and the Mount Juliet area has, at this point, seems to have taken the brunt of this.
John is the director of the Wilson County Emergency Management Agency. We appreciate the time. We're looking at the storm tracker right now. It looks like you still have a lot of rain coming down in that area, so probably not out of the woods just yet.
We do. We have alerted our Swiftwater rescue team to kind of be prepared. Our units can do some of that from the various stations around the county, but we thought it'd be advisable to go ahead and bring those folks online just in case we had additional incidences to occur across the county.
You mentioned those typical areas that flood, John. Is the Providence area, does that have any locations? Because that's where it looks like where the heaviest rain's coming down right now.
There are some areas in there. I don't necessarily see tremendously large situations there. In 2010, their lake overflowed and got into school there. I don't think we've had 2010 type weather, but at any rate, as the rain increases, the number of low-lying areas increase. The lower ones first, and then the more difficult ones will come online if the weather continues. And so we don't feel like we're at that severe level yet, but there are significant areas of flooding around the county.
Nonetheless, you come to high water at an intersection or on your road, you just want to turn around. You don't
Ponding and be extremely careful. Don't go in the water.
we don't need to activate the high water rescue team. Hey, John, thank you so much for your time.
You're quite welcome.
Okay. John Jewell from he's the director of the Wilson County Emergency Management Agency. They do a fine job there.
We want to go back to our TDOT Safeway cameras. Smartway cameras, Briley Parkway at Opry Mills. As we mentioned earlier, water covering this roadway, at least in the northbound lane. Southbound seems to be traveling pretty slowly. You can tell that cars are trying to navigate what looks like probably some water on that side as well, but just be cautious. We also want to point out that Briley between Brick Church Pike to Whites Creek Pike is shut down. This is in both directions, so keep that in mind. A lot of issues on Briley.
I'm not sure what the option is here because the next exit back is Two Rivers. It almost looks like they have to hold these people in this traffic until the water gets low enough where they can start pushing people through right there. If we
and
can
it looks like it's coming on the other side as you see that you've got emergency crews on the other side as well.
Good point, because it is coming down from the corner there, the bend, and then it's moving down past Briley, so it's probably going underneath the divider there and draining out toward the river and toward the area that they're now shutting down that interior lane. Camera 44 is on the north side. This is going to show the other Briley Parkway situation. This is Briley up at Dickerson, and this is going to be coming at this area from the opposite way, and that will show you what is happening with traffic up on this side.
Mess.
So
it's a mess.
We are locked up in different areas. I want to take you back up to Madison, and this is Old Hickory Boulevard at Gallatin Pike. Todd Hardiman is the photojournalist who's been covering this intersection for us. And Todd, for the most part, you're watching the water go down.
Yes, Neil. Right now, the water has receded quite a bit. When I first got here on the scene, there was a car actually in the middle there of Old Hickory Boulevard. And then as he was getting out of his car, the SUV that you see sitting over here, let me zoom in, actually in the roadway, plowed through the water and actually got swept over there into the grassy area. A man and woman were evacuated from that vehicle by the Nashville Fire Department. And since then, it's just been kind of chaotic out here. Cars swerving around to get out of the water, and emergency vehicles trying to get through to other calls that are obviously going on. It's been a very busy morning out here. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. Let me try to pan over here. The Church of Christ here in Madison, the parking lot there was filled up. Not sure if any water actually got into the church there. It has kind of receded down. The traffic's obviously blocking my view right now, but earlier this morning, the water was up to the doorways in that building facility right there. I'm not sure if it got in. I did speak to a motorist. He said he had tried to get around the water all morning long, and as he was coming through here and thought he was safe, that's when he got stuck. And unfortunately, that's been the case for many this morning. And as Jerry's mentioned, actually people trapped in their houses.
Todd, we appreciate the update there on the at the Old Hickory Boulevard and Gallatin Pike. What a scene we watched play out through there. And as you can see, traffic is just kind of a nightmare through there as people now are starting to find those intersections that they can get through. Thanks for the update. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and show you what's going on here with the News 2 Traffic Tracker real quick, because this is going to show you, well, first of all, the TDOT SmartWay camera at Briley, west of Interstate 24. So this is the north side of town where they're basically directing everybody off onto Interstate 24, and that's why we've kind of backed up Interstate 24 on the north side of town. Briley Parkway between Brick Church Pike and Whites Creek Pike is off limits right now, so this stretch of road, and you can see there are no cars coming toward us, so it's both directions where this shutdown has occurred. If I show you the News 2 Traffic Tracker, this is where the camera that we were just looking at is located. This is the stretch of road that is kind of shut down. This is where we had the other shutdown right here as you move from Lebanon Pike and Elm Hill Pike. It was up in here actually by the Opry Mills area across from Opryland. No flooding at Opryland, Opry Mills. This is not a 2010 deal. This is just on Briley Parkway, that low dip right in front of Bass Pro Shop where you have that.